Welcome into College Football Live. We've got Joey Galloway, we've got Jonathan Vilma, and we've got a coaching carousel to dive into. Let's skip Tennessee for just a moment and go straight to Tallahassee, guys, where the fans want answers from Jimbo Fisher.
Jimbo, yes, very excited when you came on board with the program. Very excited to have you as the offensive coordinator. Very excited when you became the head coach.
Yes, sir.
It's been kind of a tough season, and I remember watching a lot of your press conferences and how you would talk about how we need to be committed to the program and keep cheering for the team. And we need to be talking about that, about loyalty to the program. So I'm wondering, where's the loyalty to the program, Jimbo?
Now, Fisher did say on the radio today, guys, that he was sorry that they pulled the microphone from that fan, saying he had a question, he deserved to get an answer, but he also said he doesn't want to answer that question about whether he's going to stay or go until after his team's game on Saturday. The university, on the other hand, would like an answer. Reports saying they're urging him to commit one way or another. After all, they lost 3 recruits on Wednesday, with the reports circulating that he may be off to Texas A&M. So, Joey, I'll start with you. Is it fair to ask Jimbo Fisher to make a decision today?
It's fair to ask, but then it's up to Jimbo Fisher whether he's going to answer their question or not. But as a university and you're looking out for your team and you're worried about recruits, and clearly you care about your situation, of course it's fair to ask the question. And then if Jimbo decides that he's not going to answer, then the ball's in the university's court to make a decision on what they're going to do about it.
In this day and age, talking about loyalty, that it's almost laughable because the NCAA has turned college football into big-time business. So for them to talk about loyalty, if Jimbo Fisher had 3 straight losing seasons, that same fan would be up there talking about he needs to go and he needs to fight, he needs to be fired. So I don't really want to hear about loyalty from the fans because it's different, it's conflicting. The fans' loyalty is to the Florida State University football program. Jimbo's loyalty is to him and his family and his kids and whatever else satisfies him in this business that he's gotten in. And he's been fortunate to now be the head coach and be successful. So he does get to make decisions and those demands if he chooses to leave or not.
And it's interesting in these situations when we see universities fire coaches in the middle of seasons, which I hate to see happen. I do like the idea that Coach Fisher wants to wait till after the end of the season because it's about their kids as they're preparing for a game this weekend. I understand that, and I like seeing a coach with that in mind. I care about these kids. I care about this season. I hate seeing situations like we have at UCF and Scott Frost. In the middle of a season, having a great season, had a chance to win their conference, and he's answering questions about going to Nebraska. I hate seeing that stuff.
Yeah, to Frost's credit and to that team's credit, they did a good job of being able to block out the noise. Jimbo, of course, with a big game this weekend, they need a victory in order to be bowl eligible. Jonathan, let's assume that he's weighing this in his head as the week goes on. Should Jimbo Fisher go to Texas A&M?
Wow, that's a tough question. I'm not Jimbo Fisher, but if I were him,
no?
I would stay at Florida State. I don't think I look like him. I'm a little younger, I think. But I would stay at Florida State simply because of the recruiting and because of the Texas A&M SEC West challenge that he has to face year in, year out. With Texas A&M, they frankly have unrealistic expectations. They want to be national contenders and national powerhouse team, but they're not that. They've never been that. And they had a good year or 2 good years with Johnny Manziel over there at the helm. After that, they went back to what they had always been. So it's unfortunate that the fans and the boosters and the AD, they think that they're some sort of perennial powerhouse, but they're not. Jimbo Fisher at Florida State, they are. They can contend. They're one of Big 3 Florida schools that can get the big talent and possibly win a title.
I would never understand why a coach would want to go somewhere and rebuild, especially if you have something established at the place you're at. It's not like he can't recruit to Florida State. It's not like they're not a talented team. It's not like they haven't had success. So if you're Jimbo Fisher, who's been in it for a long time, Vilma just mentioned that he's a little younger than Jimbo Fisher, so Fisher's at least up there a little bit. I don't know why a guy
you're a little
would want
older
to
than
go.
Jimbo.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm a little younger than you, Vilma, but I don't know why a coach would want to just go and rebuild. Like that part of the process, when you have to get your own players, your own system in place, that seems like the hardest job for a coach to do if he takes over a new job.
So, Joey, you're not buying that there's a fatigue or a staleness that has set in at Florida State for Jimbo Fisher?
I mean, we're not talking about a team that hasn't been there. You know, in recent times, they've won a national championship. So if it is getting stale, there are a lot of colleges, a lot of teams across the country that would really like to have that type of stale at their own university.
Yeah, a very fertile recruiting ground, but you see the Clemsons and even the Miamis of the world who are now chomping at the bit to unseat Florida State in that conference.